Welcome back to the podcast that makes you faster. Oh man, it's been a while. The last episode we recorded was in 225, I guess in May. And the last time the person that sits right in front of me was a guest in this podcast was in February 225. So it's been almost a year.
A year ago. Sorry.
Yeah, a year ago. It's crazy. How are you, JP?
Yeah, no, I'm really good and great to be back. Hello, everybody. Sorry, I've been away for so long. I haven't been away. I've been here all the time. I've just been buried in the office or with partners in their offices. So yeah, great to be back and to give some more insights into what's happening in the world of Swiss side and aerodynamics and performance in cycling.
Nice. So we are going to talk about all the things that happened in the past year, why we paused the podcast. There are multiple reasons for that, and why we are looking so much forward to starting all over again and doing this, I think monthly at least. And let's start, JP. Let's talk about 225. Let's talk about the highlights, the lowlights, and everything that happened. Yeah. What was this year about from your side?
Yeah, so first of all, it was not our intention to pause the podcast. It was just an effect of all the disruption that happened last year, and me saying to you, Daniel, and Daniele, our head of marketing, guys, I don't have time. I've got some, unfortunately, more pressing topics. But look, in a nutshell, everyone can say, I think it's clear for everyone, 2025 was a pretty turbulent year, particularly in the global political landscape. That affected everyone, businesses, us all personally as well. Not a particularly pleasant year in many cases. And in addition to the sort of global events, there were a few unexpected events that meant our entire team, from management to engineering to marketing to administration to finance, had their hands full and had to redirect their focus fully on our core activities, which is how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, true. Sometimes it's just too much. And then things like podcasts or other stuff had to wait for a while. But that doesn't mean that we don't have very, very great information for you in this episode. We are happy to be back. And I can say from my perspective that it was also a great year, 225, but what a busy year it was. It was crazy with all the events that happened, with everything in products. And let's talk about the events in particular. What were the most important events?
Well, first of all, maybe to give you some insights into what these kind of the main disruptions were that occupied all of our time. So, first of all, I think everyone knows the US government tariff policy, came in with a bang and had a big impact on multiple levels, including supply chain, logistics, but then, of course, the end pricing for consumers in the US, but also with impacts back to us here in Europe. So, first of all, the whole supply chain got disrupted. And, this impacted all countries, not just, deliveries to the US. So that was a challenge. But, in particular, selling and supplying products to the US became really, really difficult. And the US is a big market of ours. So, at one point, we had to really figure out how the hell do we do this? Because, of course, we want to keep our US customers happy. At one point, Switzerland was hit with a 35% tariff. Yay, for whatever reason. Little Switzerland, bad people, 35%. Whatever. And then, the funny thing about this is even the US customs authorities had no idea how to deal with it. So our shipments to the US would get stuck in customs for random reasons. Sometimes they would go through, no tariff applied. Sometimes they'd get treated like goods from China, and they'd get a 50% tariff on them. Sometimes it would be like a 25% for Europe. Sometimes it would be 35% for Switzerland. Totally random. Of course, customers were pissed, and everyone was scrambling to figure out how to deal with it. So it was basically just a mess. So, that took a lot of effort for our whole team, finance team, our customer service team, also on the management side. How do we even do this? So anyway, there we go. That was one of the disruptions, and one disruption you can always deal with, but there came a few more as well. So
a big one.
Yeah. So some of you will know, we've been working for years, developing wheels in the pipeline, bringing a new wheel line to markets, normally around about a 2-year project. And 2 weeks before our Hadron Cubed, latest generation of Hadron wheel launch, shortly before the start of the Tour de France, the UCI said, we're going to implement a rule where any wheel above 65 millimeters rim depth is banned for mass, road racing. And we're like, oh, great. In 2 weeks, we're launching a 68 millimeter wheel. Thanks for that, dear UCI. So some of you may have read our open letter to the UCI explaining as well the reasons for this justification was completely, unjustified in many aspects and very non-scientific and very actually safety driven, and where there are many other areas of safety that should be looked at first, but whatever. But of course, being the sponsor of the Decathlon World Tour team, we had 6 months to find a solution to this, because for the 2026 season, where we are now, we had to make sure we had a legal rim. So we had to scramble to basically redevelop that 68 millimeter Hadron 680 to a 65, a 650 version in less than 6 months. And so, as a reminder, wheel development's, typically a 2-year process. But, I've got to say a huge thanks to our strategic partner and wheels producer, DT Swiss, who allowed us to do this, our engineers, everyone on all sides from, supply chain management, whatever. Literally within 4 months, we had a 65 millimeter rim ready to launch the market, which was interesting as well, because it also challenged our previous thoughts of what's possible. So anyway, that was a great disruption for us. And as a fun fact, to date, our 680, even though we announced very clearly that this is illegal for UCI road racing, it's our best-selling product. So I think there's a lot of our customers out there that, as well as us, who are like, fuck, screw you, rules makers. And of course, if you're not UCI racing, which is probably 95% of road racers, and of course all of our triathletes,
I would say thank you to the triathletes.
Thank you, triathletes. And actually, our 680 was sold out. So for all those who are waiting for this amazing product, because it is great, and it was developed for a particular reason, because it's really maximum performance in any wind conditions. So you can ride this thing in any wind. Super quick wheel. It'll be back in stock end of this month, end of Feb. So take a look there. And the final disruptor, which is which probably requires a little bit of a deeper dive, was the extra third whammy of the year, which was the DT Swiss recall, which impacted some of our wheel models.
Can you tell us some details about this one? Because this was also a huge disruptor, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, so this was actually, this was the biggest impactor for us as a business. We'd never had a recall before. I think first and foremost, and Swiss side and our partner DT Swiss are safety first, and I'm really not just saying this; it's real. It's not like other companies where we're about safety. This is truly about safety. So basically, what happened? DT Swiss discovered an issue in a batch of their own wheels, and found in an extremely small number of cases there was a delamination of the rim, which caused the sidewall to break apart from the upper rim bed. And this only happened when you pump the rim up to relatively high pressures. So it was a lamination, a process issue, but the wheel broke apart. And so, this was safety critical. All of us buying wheels, also remember when you go out and buy no-name wheels from wherever, wheels are safety critical. So, you rely on people like us, people like DD Swiss for doing our due diligence in engineering, because when you're doing 70, 80, 90 kilometers an hour down a hill, if those things break, you have a life-threatening problem. So we take this really seriously. But anyway, so DD Swiss discovered one or two issues, and they were like, shit, this is no good. They immediately informed us. And so the first thing you do in these sorts of cases is you've got to establish the extent of the problem. So they were testing all sorts of rims that they could get their hands on, both on the market, but also in stock. And they found a handful of rims where they could replicate this issue. And, again, huge credit and no hesitation from DD Swiss, safety first. Within 2 days of finding the initial issue, they issued the stop ride announcement and the recall. And they also said to Swiss side, you don't have any affected products that we're aware of. We didn't have any affected products that we were aware of, but some of your rims have come out of the same factory at a similar time. So we have no choice but to issue this stop ride notice, and we issued a recall. And it's super important to understand that this is a preventative measure. So we didn't know the extent of the issue, but again, it was just we want to prevent any accident. So so we issued this. All wheels were recalled from customers, which I've got to say, also a big apology to customers. This happened in the summer. It's not cool. You get a stop ride notice. What are you supposed to do? I've got a race in 2 weeks' time. Super inconvenient, super unacceptable. So my apologies to anyone who was affected. But so what we did is we recalled the wheels. We got all the wheels in stock. They are all tested with a special pressure testing process, which could establish if a rim was affected or not. And in the grand scheme of things, we did find some products, but the number were minuscule, like fractions of a percent. But again, huge kudos to DD Swiss for putting in place this process so quickly. It only took to ramp up this whole process around about a month. And sort of a couple more months to get the whole thing turned around, which, some recalls take literally a year plus. So the whole thing was concluded within a few months. We had no accidents on the road. Nobody that we are aware of, that we heard of, was actually even affected. So we were able to capture any defective rims. Huge thanks to everyone for your understanding and cooperation in this. It was a shitty situation for you all who were affected, so thank you. But safety is our number one priority and will always be our number one priority. So that was the recall, which was our third whammy of the year, which was certainly not welcome by us or by our customers. Yeah,
but there's also bottom line from all of this, or one good takeaway actually from all of this, is that you have a company that is recalling all these wheels that are affected by anything. And when you go on Temu or any shop on the internet and you think okay, I can buy carbon wheels for, let's say, $200 or anything, and you can put them on your bike, or you can also buy a frame set that you think okay, it's unbranded and it's on Temu and I get it for $500 or anything. These things are not safe at all. So, and that's also the reason why, it's so important to trust a company that has an experience from over 20 years in these things.
Absolutely. And look, I just want to sort of reiterate something there. Products coming out of Asia, don't get me wrong, there are some fantastic products coming out of Asia. A lot of bike frames are produced in China. China can produce amazing products. But there's also a lot of shit coming out of, and also out of Europe. It doesn't matter where. So you get a cheaper price, but it comes at a cost. And, brands like Swiss Side, DT Swiss, big high-end bike brands, You pay more, yes, but you also get the security that the job's been done properly. And especially with SwissSide, I can't, of course, talk for other brands because I don't know what their policies are, but we don't allow crap to come to the market. Simple as that. So, when you buy these products, you take a risk. If it's a no-name product, you might be perfectly fine, but on the other side, you also might not. So, that's what you buy when you pay slightly more. And, that's also the philosophy of SwissSide. We try to offer a fair price point, really top performance products, best performance in class at a fair and accessible price, but they're not cheap. And they're not cheap because we do our due diligence, and in things like this, we recall the wheels and we replace them where necessary.
Yeah, they're not cheap because there are a lot of people and a lot of value behind it. So,
yeah.
Hey, let's talk about some highlights from 225 also.
There were also a lot of highlights.
There are some.
225,
yeah.
So yeah, for sure.
What was your
it was
one?
It was a huge year. Maybe let's start on a high level. In order of epicness, for me at least, our triathlon cockpit launch was epic. Such an amazing product. We'll talk a little bit more about that afterwards. So that was a real highlight for us, and it was also like a product in a launch that we nailed it. And customers are super stoked, except if you're still waiting for your cockpit, we'll come to that as well. But then as well, also up there with epicness, Tour de France start with the decathlon team in their hometown in Lille, France, and Van Rysel, the bike brand with whom we work for developing the products for the World Tour team, put a huge event on. They had this Van Rysel house in the center of Lille. Epic, just great events, pretty great party as well. Good industry, networking, all the athletes there. I mean, that was really brilliant. And to see the turnout in France, in the north of, those from coming across from Belgium, the Netherlands, and all flocking to Lille for the start of the Tour de France. Like, if you've never been to the start of the Tour de France, it is like absolutely wild. So that was brilliant. Apart from the UCI deciding to ban our wheels 2 weeks before, but we'll put that aside. We'll move on, focus on the positives. It was awesome. We did our Hadron Cubed launch, of course, there. That was really cool. The team had the wheels. That was also a massive mission to get the wheels on the team. So, they started the first stage riding our 680, 68 millimeter wheels, which of course in 2025 were still legal, which was brilliant. That was Tour de France start, and the Hadron Cubed wheel launch was great. And then later in the year we had a pop-up store in Zurich. It's the first time we'd done that, downtown Zurich in the old town. So we had lots of people coming, visiting us. It was great to interact with you all. And we launched our road cycling apparel there a little bit late in the season, in September. So it was to be honest, it was a bit of a flat launch, just because, the production and things came too late. So we launched nonetheless. But we'll be kind of relaunching in 2026. A little teaser for you with a couple more products coming.
Of course, because it's just great. The road cycling apparel is really awesome, and we're doing a proper relaunch of it.
Yeah. And look, it's basically, you want World Tour apparel that we've designed for the World Tour teams, but you want to wear it every day. That's what we've got. But anyway, for another discussion another time.
Yeah, of course. Tell us a bit about the cockpit launch, because this is something that, I think when we launched it, it was around Roth. It broke a little bit the bike scene in the internet because it was like amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just tell you a little bit of the story behind that, maybe. The cockpit launch was a big one. I mean, as some of you might know, we've been developing custom cockpits for world champion triathletes, for World Tour teams, for athletes for many, many years. And Arno, our chief operating officer, he sort of said, who, by the way, is also a multiple times Kona Ironman age group athlete. So, really good, knows what he's doing as well, much more talented than me. But yeah, anyway, he said, guys, look, you've been developing these high-end cockpits, you know exactly what's needed for a pro athlete, you know how to make them fast, you know how to make them ergonomic, you know what's required. How about we take all of this knowledge and we produce a really aerodynamic, a really ergonomic, and a really cost-effective mass market cockpit targeted at, the normal people like me and you and age group athletes, with all the features that a triathlete needs, like the between the arms bottle setup, with a computer mount, with big arm shells, with forearm supports. And that's exactly what we did. And yeah, it's been a huge success, a little bit bigger success than we had expected, which is great. Also very important is we designed this product to fill a hole in the market, which didn't exist. So you could buy some, extensions for, 250 euros, or you could buy like a fully integrated cockpit for 1,000 plus, but there was nothing in the middle, particularly for round clamp cockpit extension solutions, which is the majority of the bikes that our customers have, that your age group athletes have. And so, yeah, we filled that market with this product, and it literally went out with like hotcakes. But yeah, maybe to talk about the challenging side is, because of its success, we really struggled to keep up with production. I mean, we actually pre-sold everything, and we've actually never been able to be in stock. So everything is pre-sold. So if you want the cockpit, get online, place your order, and you'll get. We always update the delivery dates for each production batch in the website. But yeah, like unfortunately, what we got wrong was, and what we have had to learn from, is being more conservative with planning, production, and supply chain management, which, as I mentioned earlier, has been a total mess because of this whole tariff system and the massive disruption on the global supply chain. So actually, that's one of the reasons is, lead times, which are normally, let's say, 2 to 3 months, were 3 to 4 months, and then delivery shipments, which should take, 4 weeks, we're taking 8 weeks without any notice on why and how, and we just find out when it doesn't arrive. And so, yeah, it's been super challenging. And so, yeah, for full transparency, as I mentioned, we weren't conservative enough, accounting for these unknown delays. In particular, a massive delay, which impacted our last production batch due to then a raw material supply issue with carbon fiber. Yay. So again, my apologies at this stage for anyone who's listening who had to wait a long time for their delivery. We just released that batch of deliveries last week, and we did have customers who were waiting 2 months for that. So luckily it was over the winter, so it was, let's say, not too disruptive, but still uncool. If you've spent your money and you hope to have your product for Christmas and to have on your home trainer over the winter, and we only delivered in February. So yep, full accountability on our side. Our apologies. We will do better, and we're learning as we go. Yeah. So, but anyway, yeah, the cockpit's been a great success, and we're going to bring some more accessories for that cockpit, so those who already have it can further enhance their experience and in this year. So, I just gave a little bit of a sneak peek of something that.
Yeah.
But it's been a great project.
Nice. And that's what also is very important to us, full transparency to the customer. And if you ordered a cockpit, you will definitely get a cockpit. That's for sure.
100%. And I can say we're catching up with production. We've got a big production batch underway right now. And we hope that by April, we should then start to be in stock. But yeah, at the rate that it's pre-selling, I won't make any too big promises there. But thanks everyone for your understanding. And again, sorry if you waited and you were pissed off. You have every right to be, and that's my fault. So sorry.
It will be better.
Yep.
So yeah, wrapping up 225, what were the main learnings for the brand and for you?
I'd say learning number one is shit happens and shit will happen. Just to put it as it is. So plan more for disruption. Also, as I just mentioned, just better planning around our production side, because of course, we have the great advantage that for our wheels, our partner DD Swiss manages all the production. Also there, of course, we deal with delays for the same reasons, but typically, they of course have a lot more experience in that. Whereas when it comes to our other products, cockpits, apparel, and so on, which we manage entirely ourselves, we are learning and need to do better. So that's learnings from there. But not really on the positive side. A great thing that we learned from 2025 is despite 3 major disruptions, Swiss side is super robust. I mean, our business, our team, we built it from the very beginning to be quick to react, to be really agile. So, for example, when the pandemic hit, it had 0 impact on our business operations because we were already built like this. So this year showed us again that despite pretty massive disruptions, our team and business model can cope really well, adapt really quickly where required. So super proud of our team, super proud of what we've built together. And of course, we learn from that and work even more on further improving and optimizing this aspect. Optimization of our processes to keep it lean and agile. So that, a real important thing, so that disruption isn't a hindrance, but actually it's an opportunity because we can react quicker than the others. So, that's sort of key learnings from 2025. Maybe the last one was we tried to do a little bit too much between, cockpit launch, wheel launch, apparel launch. Our small team was overloaded. So, me putting too much pressure, being too eager, and the result of which, we ended up launching a race apparel line in September. Well done. That's exactly when our customers want to receive new apparel. So things to learn there, but as all of us, learning by doing.
Yeah, of course. It's almost like writing a hit record. You want, as soon as you finish, you want to put it out and the world to hear it, but sometimes you have to wait for the market to be ready for it.
Yeah, well, you know about that, your former music career. So,
a little bit. So what about 226? Can you give us a little, do you have already some insights for us for 226?
Look, we've got 26 is going to be epic again. I mean, we've got some really, 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 really exciting stuff in the pipeline. Some disruptive stuff in the pipeline. That will be moving a little bit on as I mentioned earlier, expanding on our textiles, apparel space, adding some more products there, kind of doing a relaunch to do it the justice that it needs, because there's some epic products that we've got there. So, take a look. Big push into our retail, with our retail partners, expansion into retail, especially for apparel, because, you want to be able to go and touch it and feel it and try it on. So we'll be working there. Any retailers out there, or, if you've got your favorite bike shop, go and tell them, get in contact with Swiss Side. They want to be your partner. So call out to retailers. We want to work with you, and we offer you great margins. So reach out. We'll be reaching out to you otherwise. We've got a pretty cool new performance helping tool, which is coming to the market, something really different. Stay tuned for that. Some more additional wheel models coming to support the World Tour team, but also some other areas. I'd say tune into our next episode and find out more about what's coming in 2026.
Amazing. Okay, I just wanted to say, just keep some stuff for episode 2 and 3 and 4.
There's plenty to talk about this year. We will not disappoint, I promise you.
Yeah. Before we end this first episode, I wanted to get back to things we did last year. And I have one customer question from Instagram, actually. And it's about bottle position, because everyone is now talking about the bottle position between the arms. And one customer wrote us, bottle position, is there anyone that fits them all? Position between the arms, is it better in the front or more in the back? Do you have an answer to that?
Yeah, look, I'd say first and foremost, you want to fill the space between your arms. So not too far forwards, because of course, typically you've got your computer and you want to see your power and your speed and your time and so on. So, nicely mounted behind your computer, between the arms, coming back to where your elbows are potentially. That's really an ideal place. There you will always have an aerodynamic gain. And then, of course, if you want to fill the space as well to your chest as much as possible. So, of course, depending on how low you are with your chest, you might want to raise that bottle up a little bit as well. So it's closing the arms and being slightly above the arms. So that would be, let's say, my pro tip for age group athletes and our customers today.
Nice. Wrapping up for the first episode with the first aero tip of the season. So thank you so much for your time, JP. I'm looking forward to more episodes this year. And yeah, we'll catch up soon.
Thanks very much. Thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll see you soon.